Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, September 23. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has called on world leaders to double their contributions to the Green Climate Fund, GCF. The fund is seeking to raise $100 billion by 2020 to aid developing countries adapt and increase their resilience to climate change.
An ambitious and successful replenishment will enable our Green Climate Fund to fulfill its role of channeling adequate and predictable climate finance to where it is most needed. I am confident that our fund will continue to respond to the needs and ambitions of developing countries, but we need to place it in a position to effectively do so.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness was addressing Sunday's high-level luncheon held under the theme An Urgent Call for Countries to Partner for Climate Action. The event was jointly hosted by Prime Minister Holness and his Norwegian counterpart, Erna Solberg. Mr. Holness is on assignment in the U.S. state of New York, where he's representing Jamaica's interests at the United Nations. The Prime Minister will be addressing the United Nations Climate Action Summit, the high-level panel for a sustainable ocean economy, and the United Nations General Assembly, which will take place from September 21 to October 1. Mr. Holness will also be holding bilateral talks with several leaders on the margins of the UN General Assembly. During his absence, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang is in charge of government. In other news, the Jamaica Constabulary Force will be rolling out its revamped traffic management system next month. The new system will regulate the issuing of tickets, address the accumulation of thousands of unpaid tickets, and restore public order among unruly motorists. While making the disclosure, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says a centralized web-based system will coordinate payments, demerit points, court fines, and the issuing of electronic warrants.
This is, of course, the value added of the new traffic ticket management system. It allows officers of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch to access real-time reports that detail information on all warrants that have been issued for an individual and flags the warrants that remain outstanding for that individual at any point in time. So in fact, you can know who they are, what they're outstanding for, and fine them and charge them.
Minister Chang was speaking at the handover of 80 motorcycles to the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB, on Friday. Meanwhile, Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson says the 80 motorcycles will be deployed in town centers and hotspots across the island to allow for quick response and enforcement of traffic breaches. The increased mobility, Major Anderson says, will greatly impact traffic crashes and road deaths.
This is something that we are paying particular attention to, and for the last part of the year, both through our enforcement strategies and our presence, we are hoping to get a reduction.
The government of Jamaica and the People's Republic of China have signed a protocol to govern the export of frozen lobster to China. The agreement, which was signed on Thursday, outlines the sanitary and hygienic conditions necessary to facilitate such export. It also indicates the responsibilities of the local authority body, the Veterinary Services Division, in coordination with the General Administration of Customs of the People's Republic of China. Fisheries Minister Audley Shaw says the agreement is a big step in the right direction as it further expands the market for the export of frozen lobsters into China. Over 28,000 kilograms of live lobster in export is expected this year.
I urge all our relevant stakeholders and our potential exporters to adhere to their responsibilities to comply strictly with the requirements.
The new agreement is an expansion on a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) signed in 2017 for the export of fisheries products to China. Since the signing of that MOU, Minister Shaw said a protocol for the export of live lobster was developed and ratified by both countries, and there has been steady export of live spiny lobster from Jamaica to China. 120 primary school teachers in 75 schools across 7 parishes will be taught how to diagnose and correct various language-based learning disabilities in students. It will be facilitated by the Creative Language-Based Learning Foundation following the contract signing on Wednesday with the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF. The 6-month course is being funded by JSIF at a cost of $20.6 million.
What we want to do from here on out is just to continue to build from strength to strength, and I'm sure that in the time to come we will see the the results of the students who have benefited from this program.
So when we have a creative learning-based platform that will assist children with learning disabilities, it is a win not just for the teachers who are being trained, but it is a win for all our children, all our thousands of Jamaican children who will now benefit from teachers who have now educated themselves and gone through professional development to ensure that they can teach our children who present themselves with learning disabilities.
The Linda Mood Bell program was first taught to 50 teachers in Jamaica in 2017. It is a useful technique for children with dyslexia, hyperlexia, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, autism spectrum disorders, and other learning difficulties. And finally, the National Water Commission, NWC, says it will be ensuring that real estate developers build according to the approved water storage capacity as per their permits. Speaking at a JIS think tank, NWC's president, Mark Barnett, says permits usually require housing developments to have water storage for a minimum of 6 days. However, Mr. Barnett says developers tend to ignore that part of the permit, and that the NWC will be applying enforcement measures.
For those developers who would have been approved and based on the certificate of approval issued by the NWC, which is also used by the parish council or the municipal council as a means of granting development approval, they are going to be mandated before getting their final connection to the NWC system in terms of those requirements.
Mr. Barnett says storage is a requirement for continued water supply to customers in the event of a disruption in the NWC system. Meanwhile, Mr. Barnett is also recommending that persons modify their premises to facilitate rainwater harvesting.
So where persons would have put in a townhouse complex, an apartment complex, most of the driveways paved, it is just simple an approach to put a small storage, capture that rainwater that is flowing from those surfaces, and you could use that for your on-site irrigation of your common areas rather than utilize the potable water.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.